Hi, and welcome to another product demonstration. And the product today I'm going to be talking about is the talking kitchen scales. And the product ID for that is going to be ES as in E for elephant, S for snake, 0084. So that's ES0084 talking kitchen scales. So what I thought I'd do first of all is I'm going to talk about some of the features of the jug that's currently sitting on top of the scales. Then I'll talk about some of the features of the scales, sort of put them together to actually weigh something, and then I'll make some final comments at the end of the demo. So first of all, let me just say that the capacity of the actual jug itself is 5 kilos or 1,300 milliliters. So it will do both solids and liquids. And I know it's a bit odd to get excited about an actual jug, but the two things I like about this jug in particular, and the third one that people with low vision will find extremely handy, is the first one, at least for me as a blind person, is on the left hand side where we've got this spout for of course pouring liquids out of it. It's got a little notch underneath the actual spout where you pour it out, and of course that notch, you can put that on the actual edge of a container that you're pouring into, and that makes it more stable. And then on the other side, where the handle is, we've got a rubber surface or rubber cover over the actual handle, and of course that makes it much easier for gripping. And besides the rubber, there's also some raised parts in the handle which sort of allows your fingers to actually fit better on the handle when you're gripping it with your hand. So particularly people that find it hard to grip things, that's actually quite handy. And the overall weight of the actual jug is actually quite good. It's actually not very heavy at all. So the other thing I wanted to talk about, particularly for low vision folks, is on the side here, we've got quite bold black measurement scale. And if I rotate it, we've also got the same on the other side here. Again, very good black measurements on the actual side of the actual jug. And if I tip it upside down, and lucky you don't have anything in it, then we've got this raised lip around the outside of the jug, which of course, let me just move the jug out of the way, corresponds to the actual scales on top, the surface where the jug actually sits on top of. All right, so I'm just going to put the jug away on the side for the moment, and let's just talk about the actual scales themselves. So we've got this platform on top that of course the outside edge of the jug sits on top of for stability. It's quite stable. And by the way, you again can use the scales without the jug. So you can put something to weigh like a parcel straight onto the scales. And at the front here, in the middle, we've got a little LCD screen. And then to the left and right of that, we've got two round buttons. The left-hand button allows you to cycle between milliliters, grams, and ounces. And the right button is basically your on-off weight button. So that's the buttons on the front of the unit. Now, I'm not going to bother turning it over because it's not really that exciting, but underneath you've got a door for inserting two AAA batteries, which do not come included. And you've got some rubber feet to stop the scales sliding on your kitchen bench, for example. And that's also where the speaker is that the very clear English voice comes out of. All right, so let me grab the jug again, and I'm going to pop it back on the scales. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to grab something to weigh. So I've always wanted to know how heavy my talking cube clock is, for example, which is this one.
It's 11:49 a.m.
It's just spoken. All right, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn it on by pressing the button on the right-hand side.
Power on.
Okay, and then I can cycle around. So if I press the left-hand button, remember I said it's going to cycle in between milliliters and so on, so I press it once. Ounce, press it again.
Gram.
Gram. Milliliter. So I'm going to do grams.
Ounce. Gram.
Okay, just for something different. And I'm going to now stick my talking cube clock in the jug in the middle.
It is 253 grams.
Okay, so it's 253 grams.
253 grams.
Okay, so if I take my talking cube clock out and pull it back away from it. Now if I just press that button by itself on the right hand side, the on, off and the weighing button.
0.
Okay, I know we're back to 0 because there's nothing else on it. And let's see what else I could actually weigh today. So let's try, and this is something that we don't currently have in the store, but this is called an orbit writer. And the reason why I was going to do this one was because it quite won't fit in the jug. So this time, I'm actually going to take the jug off. And let's say I'm sending this to a friend. I want them to actually have a play with the Orbit Writer, which is a little braille input keyboard that you'll see in a minute. So I think, oh, well, I better find out how much it weighs before I post it to find out how much postage I might need to actually send. So I'm going to put the Orbit Writer on top of the actual, just the platform of the scales now. I've got the jug on it. So it's on there now. Take my hands away. And let me press the button on the right hand side.
0.
And maybe it's too light. Let's do it again.
0.
Okay, let's rotate on the left hand side.
Milliliter.
Actually, I'll take it off first.
Ounce. Gram.
Okay, back to gram. Put it back on again. Press the button again.
0.
Okay, that didn't work, did it? All right, this is actually not a bad demo, actually. So let me take it off. I'm going to turn it off. I'm just going to hold in that button on the right-hand side, the power on off button.
Power off.
Okay, now I've turned it off. So I'm going to turn it back on again.
Power on.
And I'm going to press the button on the left-hand side to rotate around to grams.
Milliliter. Pound gram.
Okay, to grams. Pop the keyboard back on. And it appears to be too light for it. So that's interesting. So if I press the power weight button,
0.
no, it's too light for it. All right, well, at least we know it doesn't weigh the Orbit Writer scale. So that's actually a bit weird. So, all right, in that case, let me weigh, this is going to be interesting. Let me weigh my old-fashioned talking typewriter Bluetooth keyboard. This is actually a fair weight, this one. So I'm going to pop it on now, and now we'll see what it says.
It is 1,201 grams.
There we go. That's much better. So let me just say that would be in kilos. So I'm going to press the button on the left-hand side.
Milliliter. It is
Hey, come on.
1,176 milliliters. Ounce. It is 2 pounds
Actually,
and 10 ounces.
that's a bit better. Let me just do that again because that was a bit confusing, wasn't it? I'm taking it off. I'm going to press the button so it says 0.
0.
That's better. So let's do,
Gram. Milliliter. Ounce.
okay, ounces. And I'm going to pop it back on again. Take my hands away.
It is 2 pounds and 13.9 ounces.
So there we go. So that's actually quite good.
2 pounds and 13.9 ounces.
Okay, so I probably went from one extreme to the other just then, just doing the Orbit Writer, which was obviously too light for the unit, right up to a quite heavy keyboard. So that's good. And I've just realized that doing that, it didn't seem to do kilograms at all, did it? So just keep that in mind when you're using it. But as I said, you can do solids, you can do liquids, you can use the jug or just the scales themselves like I've just done. And then of course, when you're finished, you just press the power button on the right hand side here.
0.
And I've just pressed it once just to show you that it's just going to basically tell you there's nothing on it. What I normally do is just hold it down. and now the power is off. All right, so the process is basically to weigh stuff with or without the jug. You turn the unit on with the power button. You select what you want to use, so milliliters, ounces, or grams. You then pop on the item you want to weigh, as in directly onto the scales, or put it into the jug and weight, and then it will tell you the weight of the item you're weighing. And then, of course, if it's way too light, like happened with the Orbit Rider unit, it's not going to do anything. But overall, I've weighed potatoes, I've weighed onions, I've weighed my wife's stamping up stuff, because she does scrapbooking her stamp sets and so on, and that's all worked really nicely. So it's a good unit. The voice is very clear. As I said, it doesn't come with batteries, so make sure you get 2 AAA batteries, but after that everything will be fine. So that completes this demo of the Talking Kitchen scales with the excellent jug. And if you want to get in contact with Vision Australia Vision Store, you can get to us by emailing visionstore@visionaustralia.org. You can visit our shop page, which is shop.visionaustralia.org, or you can certainly talk to our staff on the main Vision Australia number, or via the main Vision Australia number, which is 1300 847 466. 1300 847 466. And as I say in my other demos, thanks for your attention, and bye for now.